Hello, salespersons of all makes, models, and brands. My name is Chance, and welcome to step 2 of the sales process over here at the Sales Bible. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the needs analysis. And in my opinion, this is one of the most crucial steps on your road to a sale. If you butcher this, I'm sorry, but the odds of you getting a sale are drastically low. The estimated time it should take to do this is between the 10 to 20 minute mark. Kinda depends what make you're selling, kinda depends on the customer. There's a lot of factors, but usually if it's going over 20 minutes, you're gonna run into some problems. With that being said, let's take a look at the process here. So typically the conversation happens once you have them sat down at your desk. Check out the previous video for a step-by-step guide on how to do that. And the conversation usually plays out like something of the following. All right, Lisa, now that we're comfortable, I have a couple questions to help us find you the perfect vehicle. To which she'll reply, of course, ask away. And then you go through your guest sheet, and she'll answer the questions. And then you'll reply with, fantastic, I think I have the perfect vehicle in mind for you. I'm just going to confirm with my manager and get his thoughts as well. I will be right back. And then you'll head over, talk to your manager, and that'll take you to step 3. But I believe you might have already noticed that this isn't very helpful right now. I mean, maybe it is a little bit. But let's take a look at the actual guest sheet and typically how I've seen them laid out. So usually in the top left-hand corner area, you're going to have a place for all the customer information. First name, last name, best number to reach him at, address, email, stuff like that will be on those lines. Beneath that, you'll usually have information regarding their trade-in, make, model, kilometers, trim lines, stuff like that. And then on the right-hand side, you'll have information regarding their new vehicle. Things like preferences, what led them to your brand, what they're hoping to get out of the vehicle, stuff like that. There's usually a place for financial information as well. I do not fill out the financial needs assessment during this step. I just find there's not enough rapport built at this stage, and it just makes people a little bit uneasy when you go straight into the numbers. Step 1 is making sure you can find a vehicle that meets their needs. We can worry about the price later. If they ask you and try and get you on it, kind of depends on your own internal policy. Usually I have the best luck with saying something of the following. Usually, it's my job to make sure you're happy with the vehicle. My manager is going to take care of you on the numbers. And that way it just kind of moves blame a little bit, changes their focus, and also drops their guard a little bit too. So that's just typically what I have the most luck with. That being said, if they really do push, if they really do have like a very strict budget they have to adhere to, then it's worth bringing that up to your manager after the needs assessment is filled out during step 3, the manager TO, which we will do a video on, but that's kind of where you'd bring that up. Now, let's get into some far more actionable advice here, and that is the must-ask questions. The first and largest one is, why are you considering getting into a new vehicle today? Not a lot of salespeople ask this. I think they're too scared, or maybe they're worried it might make things awkward, but it's good to know, because usually this question alone will answer a ton of other questions you're going to have to ask anyways. So I find it's a good opener. People already kind of have an answer in their head, believe it or not, so you'll be fine there. I usually followed up by with great, what features are important to you, or what attracted you to whatever your make is. In my case, Honda. So I'd ask, all right, and what attracted you to Honda as a brand? They usually say something in the regards of reliability. And then which features are important to you. This is kind of what's going to help you land on their trim line a little bit more specifically. And then who will be the main driver? Typically that person is also the decision maker. However, at this point in time, I wouldn't even worry about that. just assume for argument's case that everyone there is a decision maker. And then, do you have any color preferences is another one that not a lot of people seem to want to ask for some reason, but it makes sense to ask. That way you'll need to know if you have the vehicle in stock or if it's going to be a locate. So it's just good to be prepared and planning ahead. And then you can start to focus on their trade. Were you planning on trading your current vehicle in? Do you still have any money owing on your trade? What are your current payments / interest rate? How much time did you have today? So after you're done asking about their trade, you're going to want to ask about time and what they were hoping to accomplish. The reason you're going to want to do this is to be able to probe how far you're going to be able to get in the sales cycle and how urgent things are. Typically, you're going to want to treat a person a little bit differently if they're just shopping around numbers versus actually committing to a vehicle that day. So it's a good question to ask, and to be fair, I've never had people give an adverse reaction to it. It's not really a soft close in any way, shape, or form. It's just kind of an initial probe. While you're asking these questions, it might be fun to make a conversation as well. Just be careful you don't chat for too long. It's kind of tempting, but essentially the longer you talk, the more the excitement kind of dies down. So I'd try and avoid spending too much time on the needs analysis, but just make them feel comfortable. Make sure they got water at the very least. Check out the first video for a tip on how to always make sure they have a drink. All right, now let's get into some more actionable tips, or rather just pieces of advice. The first one, just be in a generally good mood. Just take them seriously, be serious about it, but at the same time, have a smile on your face, be very kind-hearted, good-natured, stuff like that. Also, speak very clearly. I see a lot of new salespeople mumble a lot once they get sat down. You're going to have to learn how to project your voice really well, even from a seated position. It's just a good habit to get into. So speak a little bit louder than you normally would when you're with friends, and you should be fine. Usually about 1 or 2 octaves higher should be enough. And then be mindful of their time and yours as well. Typically, the sales process shouldn't really take more than an hour, to be honest with you. Maybe a little bit longer depending on circumstances, but an hour is a fair average. So just make sure you're progressing along at a nice speed, and just make sure everything's getting answered. That being said, guys, if you have any ideas of must-ask questions, or if you have any ideas on how to do a needs analysis, please put them down in the comments beneath, as well as let me know whether or not you use a guest sheet at your dealership. I'm just kind of curious. Every dealership I've been at has had them, but a lot of salespeople don't use them, so I'm just curious what school of thought you belong to. Personally, I find it kind of strange. I find the more a guest sheet is filled out, the higher likelihood you're going to be selling something. But that just might be me, so if you have any cool observations, feel free to put them down in the comments beneath as well. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you all have a great day, and as always, happy selling.